What's going on, y'all? I'm Jim Ansell from Real Deal Outdoors TV, and this is The Juice, where we show you products that are available on shopkarls.com that can help you catch more fish. You know, a lot of folks like to hang their bass gear up at the end of fall and they don't bring it back out until the pre-spawn. But there's still an awful lot of fishing that can be done in late fall in those winter months. You know, a lot of folks just don't understand they're passing on a golden opportunity to catch big bass with very little competition from other anglers on pretty much empty lakes in the winter. The trick is just adapting to the change in a bass's feeding behavior. You know, during the winter time, their metabolism slows down, and there's some things that you can do to maximize your chance of catching them. You're gonna throw more compact baits. You're gonna fish a little deeper because bass like to go deep during the winter. And you're gonna slow your presentation down because they don't like to expend a lot of energy. Today we're gonna take a look at 5 presentations that are gonna help you all do just that. Now we're kicking this list off with a tried and true cold weather bass magnet, and that's the jerkbait. You know, during the colder months, bass are a lot less aggressive and they need more coaxing in order for them to bite. And the 13 fishing whippersnapper was made specifically for this kind of scenario. You know, jerkbaits like the whippersnapper have a streamlined baitfish profile, and they were designed to reach and suspend at varying depths so that you can target those wintering bass. And what's cool about a jerkbait is it hangs right in the strike zone on the entire retrieve. That allows you to work it more slowly and erratically by twitching the rod tip and adding long pauses in there. That's going to entice those more lethargic fish. And when the fish come in to take a closer look, these whippersnappers have realistic HD color schemes and details. They've also got super sharp VMC hooks to seal the deal. With a jerkbait like this, I like to use a shorter bait casting setup. You know, I'll throw this on something like a 6'9" medium to medium heavy rod with a moderate to fast action. And I'll pair that with a reel that has a more moderate gear ratio like a 6.1 to 1. You can round that combo out with light diameter fluorocarbon line for best results. Alright, so next up on the list we've got the Fighter Fly from Outcast Tackle. The Fighter Fly is a lightweight hair jig designed by Bassmaster Elite Pro Seth Fighter, and is tied with natural marabou feathers, which gives it a lifelike action that you just don't get with jigs that are made with synthetic materials. And what sets this hair jig apart from synthetic jigs when it comes to winter fishing is how it reacts in the water. The natural material has a breath about it that just seems to drive fish crazy. Now you can fish this jig in a couple of different ways. You can do a slow straight retrieve with this thing, or you can drag it along and maintain contact with the bottom, which is really going to allow that marabou hair to work its magic. I think the key with this jig is just to keep it stupid simple. I don't use trailers with these jigs, and I like to throw them on the light spinning tackle. You know, for something like this, a 7 foot to 7'3" medium fast action rod with 8-pound braided line is going to work perfect here. That's going to allow you to cast these lightweight jigs a mile. Alright, another awesome bait that you can tie on when you're looking to fish deep and slow is a blade bait. And as far as blade baits go, a killer option for you guys would be the 10,000 Fish Death Stalker. So blade baits like the Death Stalker are super easy to work, and when bass are hanging out deep and being lazy, they mimic the perfect easy to catch and easy to digest meal. So you can use the Death Stalker to cover open water with a simple cast and retrieve approach, but in the wintertime, your best bet's going to be to jig this guy up and down. Steady lifts and drops of the rod tip are going to allow this bait to flash and flutter down through the water column, and they're going to give this the look of a bait fish in distress. Now most of your bites are going to be really subtle here, and they're going to come on the fall, so it's going to be really important for you guys to use gear that's got good sensitivity. Now I like to use a 7 foot to 7'6" medium heavy fast action casting rod. I'll pair that up with a reel that has a little bit faster gear ratio like a 7'1" to 1. And then I'll have that reel spooled up with 8 to 15 pound fluorocarbon. Alright, so one deep water winter fishing technique that always seems to produce for me is to pair up an underspin with a paddle tail swim bait. And the new Cyclebait underspin from 10,000 Fish is going to be a great way for y'all to go if you want to spice this presentation up a little bit and give it a more natural look. Now this bait has a patented ring system to attach the blade, and what that does is it gives it a lifelike hunting action, and also gives it a lot of flash and a distinct thump on the retrieve. Now we'll pair this guy up with a paddle tail swim bait like the 4-inch Biospawn Exo Swim. Then we'll steadily slow roll this guy off the bottom to trigger strikes, or you can bring it back through the middle of the water column to target those suspending bass. Now I like to throw my underspins on a 7 foot to 7'3" medium to medium heavy fast action casting rod. I'll pair that up with something with a slower gear ratio, something like a 5 to 1 or 6 to 1. And if you want to get the most sensitivity out of this setup, I'd throw this with like 30-pound braid, hook that up with some 10-pound fluorocarbon leader. That'll help you all feel those subtle bites. Alright, so to round this list out, we've got one of my all-time favorite baits to throw, and that's a lipless crankbait. And the Googan Squad clutch is the perfect option here. Now you have a few advantages to throwing a lipless crank like the clutch during the wintertime. And one of those advantages is that they sink so that you can reach those deeper fish. And then once you get it down to the depth that you want, these lipless cranks respond really well to a slow retrieve. So you're going to be able to kind of slow roll it off the bottom. And the clutch, like a lot of other lipless cranks, comes with an internal rattle chamber. Now, that's going to make this bait nice and loud, and it's going to alert nearby fish. And finally, these lipless cranks, they come through cover surprisingly well. and ripping it through grass is oftentimes going to trigger a strike from a hungry bass. Now these lures are super easy to work. You're just going to make long casts, allow it enough time to reach the desired depth, and then you're just going to retrieve it slow and steady. And since these lures use treble hooks, to ensure I get the best hook set, I'll usually throw it on something like a medium cranking rod. But if you know you're going to be ripping this through a lot of cover, I would step it up and use something with a little more backbone like a medium heavy. Then I'd pair that up with something like a 7-to-1 reel, and I'd spool that up with 10 to 16 pound fluorocarbon. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of The Juice. Hopefully you guys found this information useful, hopefully to help some of y'all out. So listen, if you enjoyed the video, please make sure you go down and you hit that thumbs up button for us. That lets us know you enjoy what's going on here. And if you want to stay up to date with everything going on with Karl's Bait and Tackle, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Then hit that little notification bell down there. That's going to let y'all know anytime they post new content. Finally, drop down in the comments section. Let us know what some of y'all's favorite winter techniques are. We'd love to get a conversation going with y'all and find out what you guys do to catch fish during the colder months. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, my name is Jim Ansell. If you want to catch more of my videos over at my YouTube channel, Real Deal Outdoors TV, we're going to leave a link for you guys right down in the description. Happy holidays to y'all, and tight lines until next time.